As you may have seen on Go Nintendo, as many of you did this week, be it on Twitter or the site itself, I posted up a news story, as I do many times throughout the week. One of them was about the Completionist, who is a YouTuber, if you don't know. His name is Gerard Khalil. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Completionist. I am also familiar with him. I've been familiar with his work for a long time. Um, through YouTube, obviously, and then he was a host when G4 returned. He's done a whole bunch of things, but mostly known as a YouTuber. So the Completionist decided to spend money. I believe some of it, or maybe all of it, was donations from fans. I could be wrong on that, but he, with the 3DS and the Wii U eShops closing, he wanted to do the admirable job of archiving every 3DS and Wii U digital release before the shops close down, because we will lose some games forever. Some of those games are only available digitally, so when those shops close, you can no longer purchase those games. So, with the intention of archiving or being a gaming historian, he purchased all those games. It took, I think it was like $23,000 or something like that altogether. But now every digital title available in the Wii U and the 3DS have been archived by him. What he does with those remains to be seen, but it's preserving a piece of game history, and I applaud that. So I thought the story was interesting. I had a few of you guys send it my way, so I checked it out and I put together the story. My story detailed who the Completionist was. It shared his video. I gave all kinds of insight, into the person and what they were doing and why they were doing, blah, 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 the whole gamut, as you would do in a post. Also, without the stuff that I won't name sites, but other sites do, where, I tell you the story, and other sites are like, when I was 7 years old, I grew up, and my mother, blah, blah, blah. You skip 5 paragraphs, and then it's like, okay, here's what I'm looking for. So you got the whole meat of the story and as few words as possible. Posted the story up. Now, when I write titles for stories, I always try and write titles that are A, not clickbait. I go out of my way to not do clickbait. B, I try and make a title so that anyone can understand. Chances are, if you are following me, you know Nintendo stuff, but that doesn't mean you know every single thing. I don't know everything about Nintendo. No one knows everything about Nintendo. Not even employees that work at Nintendo know everything about Nintendo. And I apply that to the greater internet as well. You could be on the internet all day, all the time, but you still won't know everything that's going on the internet. So I was putting together the title for this story, and I was like, what should I say here? I don't want to say the Completionist because people might not know who that is. I don't want to say YouTuber because that's a little too generic. And I like YouTuber for some circles has a negative connotation. People will see YouTuber and be like, well, not looking at that. So I was like, what could I do here? I don't want to do just like guy or whatever. So I said fan. I said fan spends $23,000 buying every Wii U and 3DS eShop game. That was it. Posted a story, went about my day. Thought nothing of it other than that's a fun story. Went on to the next story. Well, little did I know, as the day went on, discourse was brewing on the internet. And it came to my attention a few hours later when somebody replied to my tweet. And I read it and I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Because there was like, I saw that there was some sort of argument in the tweet. So I went over and I quickly found out that the internet wanted me to die because I called Jared, or I'm sorry, I want to make sure I get his name right so I don't get people angry. Gerard, the Completionist. People wanted me to die because I called him a fan. I think they wanted me to say the Completionist because they also didn't like YouTuber. But people were, um, without getting into specifics, extremely angry. Some people were extremely angry. Obviously, it's the internet. That happens.
Is it because they wanted him to get the credit in the heading, or is it because he's more than a fan?
You name it, both of those. They said it was very disrespectful. He's not just a fan. He's like an incredible content creator. And, I'm not responding
He's
to
got
any.
this many subscribers.
Yes,
sure
I'm not
somebody
responding to
mentioned
any of
that.
these people because obviously, I explained fan. Never meant it as disrespectful. Never considered it to be disrespectful. I was like, I'm a fan. Like he's a fan. Obviously, if you are spending that much money on these games, you have to be somewhat of a Nintendo fan. And again, I didn't want to run with YouTuber because I feel it pushes some people away. And I know others feel it's a little disrespectful just to call somebody a YouTuber. I could have gone content creator. Maybe that would have been a better way. Or like I said later on, I could have done YouTuber, I guess, although people said they didn't like that. So the sentiment from a lot of people online, at least the ones who are willing to comment on Twitter, were anger, and they were enraged that I called him a fan and said it's disrespectful. They couldn't believe I would say something like that about him. The Completionist is called him a fan and said it's disrespectful. They couldn't believe I would say something like that about him. The Completionist is so much more than that. He works so hard on his content. Again, all things I agree with, all things I never said anywhere never said a bad word about the guy at all. So this was going on, and obviously it continued because the day it happens is the day where things really kick off. So it just got worse and worse. I didn't reply to anyone because I know how the internet
Did you
works.
change the headline to anything?
No, because I don't think I did anything wrong at all. If it was factually incorrect, I would have certainly changed it. But I stand by what I wrote because I feel it's the best way to get the story to reach people who don't know anything or care about YouTubers. Because the important part of the story is the spending the money on the games because it's a lot of money. If it was like Doug Bowser, I would have said Doug Bowser in the story because he's at Nintendo, he works at Nintendo, and you'd be like, why would he do that? But anyway, so it just got worse and worse throughout the day. I do want to say thank you to replies, and basically said what I said. They were saying, some of you were saying, I'm sure he wrote this because he wanted to be a generic title to approach any reader rather than signify a specific group. If you read the many people said if you read the article, he shares the video, talks about who the guy is and what he does. Like, of course, but many people did not do that. It's the internet. So to be completely honest, having worked on the internet for nearly 20 years, it's like a tenth is probably generous. Uh, more than less than a tenth of the people who read the title will actually click through to the article. They just read the title and that's it. So the people who were upset didn't care that I gave complete context in the article. But so discourse continued to grow, and I was getting very not nice messages. And I'm not saying like I was I'm upset that this whole discourse happened in general. It was upsetting, but I'm not like course happened in general. It was upsetting, but I'm not like awake at night about it crying or anything. It's just disappointing to see because I don't want to say my intentions were good because I didn't have any intentions. It was just like I posted a story, and to see people take what I wrote and put it in such a negative light was just very disappointing. So then things continue on. And I guess the Completionist had so many people getting in touch with him about this that he tweeted about it. Now, of course, what do you think happens? That makes it even worse. So that now that he's tweeted about it, a whole new group of people see it, and they are not all of them. A notable group was enraged by it as well and replying to him saying, "You don't deserve this." Blah 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 blah.
But was he enraged? The Completionist?
He was not. I don't remember his response exactly word
we're
for word.
taking this from we're lifting the words from a page. We're not. You didn't engage in an actual like verbal conversation with him, right? Or
I haven't even gotten to me talking to him.
Right. So my point being, like, it's hard for us to really say exactly where he stands on it because you haven't had like a conversation.
I have had a conversation with him, not through voice, but through text. Yes.
So we're because it was just a tweet.
There.
I just wanted to know what his tweet was. If his tweet was like,
that's what I was going to answer.
I'm more than a fan. Everybody get this guy.
No, his tweet wasn't like that. His tweet was, again, I don't remember the exact words. We could go look at it, but it wasn't anything inflammatory. It wasn't anything bad. I should just go look at it. I don't know how much the guy tweets. I could find out because I don't want to turn this into like another like I'm upset about what he said.
You think it would just be like, yeah, leave this guy alone. He didn't mean anything by it, or get this guy. I'm more than a fan. Like,
Yeah. Let me go back just because it's easier. Here we go. This is what he said exactly, word for word. I'm reading his tweet right now. I appreciate everyone sticking up for me for Go Nintendo calling me a fan, but it's okay. I make videos. I'm a TV show host. I now make video games. None of that would have happened if I wasn't a fan. As long as the intent message of video game preservation spreads, I'm happy. So the message is fine. I'm going to be completely honest. Not my favorite, but it's fine. Like, it's not what I would have said, but I'm me. He's him. I don't think the message is bad. I'm not upset with his
but
message
it leaves
at
it.
all.
There's still definitely an air of leaving it open for them to criticize you, like his fans.
Again, I'm not crapping on the guy. I got no issues with him at all. But if I saw that there was a groundswell of people dogpiling on someone, and maybe he didn't see that, maybe he only saw his fans coming to him being like, I can't believe this guy did this to you. It's not what I have done, or what I would have done. I would have jumped in to be like, with, in much nicer terms, knock it off, everybody. You're making a thing where there is no thing. That's what I would have said.
I mean, you're clearly, obviously, you don't have as many followers and stuff as he does, but
Yeah.
like, you wouldn't have to say that to your fans. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? That's all I'm going to say.
a good
But
point.
like, you also don't have, millions upon millions upon millions.
And I want to stress, like, he's not responsible for his fans. Like, he puts out content
Of
and
course,
they
I didn't
enjoy
mean
it.
it like
Yeah,
that.
I don't. Yeah, I just want to be very clear. We don't think like he should step in. Obviously he can step in and say things whenever he wants, but whatever his fans do, unless he's like, go tell this guy he's an asshole, which he didn't do, then he's not responsible for what his fans do. So yeah, I read the message and I was like, on one part I appreciate it, on the other part I'm like, like, you got to tweet about it now. So the only thing that irks me, and I'm not going to go through and find the exact tweets. Because I followed him so I could talk to him. And I saw some of his replies to other people who were like, "You don't deserve this. You work so hard, blah blah blah." And he's like, "I know it happens to me all the time, but I'm used to it."
Oh God!
And said that, and I was like,
give me a break with that stuff. Did
And
he not
that's
read
like-
your story? Does he not know who you are?
I don't know if he doesn't. Listen, I don't care if he knows who I am. He doesn't have to read the story. If I were in a situation, yes, I would have read the story to get context for why. Is this just a title thing? Did he drag me in the story? Any of that? Again, I'm not crapping on the completionist. I do not want to fight with him. I have no ill will. I harbor no ill intentions. It's an unfortunate situation that happened. He did not handle it how I would have, but he doesn't have to. I don't think he did anything wrong. He just handled it differently from how I would have. What happened after is him and I, in my least favorite way, publicly on Twitter, talked to each other. And the talk was completely cordial, 100% fine. He was very friendly, very nice, said nothing bad. And, whatever beef there wasn't any between me and him, but whatever the internet had manufactured was squashed publicly. Again, if anyone ever has a problem with him, I prefer they reach out to me privately through email or Twitter DM, and I'm more than happy to talk to you instantly and correct if there's any issues. He wasn't asking me to do anything, but I would have rather this was handled privately, but it was handled publicly. But in the end, it's over. Obviously, I'm still getting crap for it because people are offended, but it's not often. Listen, if I think I am in the wrong or I have offended someone greatly and they ask me to remove or change content, more than 9 times out of 10, I will do that. He has not asked me to change anything, and I don't feel I did anything wrong, so it remains fan.
And it's not
But-
like you said fan because you said fan because you wanted as many people as possible to be open to reading this article.
Yes.
It wasn't because you wanted the completionist to read this and not be offended that you called him a YouTuber or a content creator. It has nothing to do with him in that respect. It's you wanted it to be as open and easy to read, to bring in as many because to be honest, if I personally read YouTuber or content creator, I really don't care that much. I probably wouldn't click on that
I
article.
know. I try to paint things in titles in ways that I know there's certain words and phrases that people will see and ignore right away. And I know YouTuber is one of them for sure, because some people are like, I hate YouTubers. I don't want anything to do with, and then, like, he's got all this money to flaunt, blah, blah. I don't want to say any of
Right,
that.
it's
I
a whole
want
other
to
thing,
get
yeah.
you to the story. Then you can see what's going on. Then completely separate from the completionist, some people were like, my story was labeled as clickbait. And to tell you the truth, that bothers me the most because I cannot see or fathom or understand any way that title is clickbait. It literally tells you exactly what happened. There's no clickbait. And I did reply to one clickbait comment, and I was like, I'm sorry you feel that way. I honestly don't understand what clickbait is here, and that's not my intention at all. And the guy was like, you're so full of shovel, your eyes are brown, which is funny. But
It's not that funny, actually.
I just don't get how you could see it. Don't get how you could see it
I mean,
as
that's so
clickbait.
lame, to be
So
honest. I mean, I know it's just a stupid comment.
it's
but that
just
was
so
lame.
frustrating to, like, not only all this stuff happened publicly and was disappointing, to see someone
If you said
say it was clickbait, I'm like, now
you'll
this
never
too?
guess which fan raised the money
Yeah.
to, then that's clickbait. But like a fan, like,
Second, I just had a great one. Where did it
get
go?
off the internet. Is there any way
said the
to
eShop is
Nintendo,
closing
yes.
down, and you won't believe what this YouTuber did.
That's
Nintendo,
perfect.
I think you edited it. Yes, you did, because it was funnier with the typo. I liked it said this eShop is closing down and you won't believe what this YouTube did. I like that as well. That'd be really funny. But anyway, yes. So not a great week. Still feeling the reverberations of it. But again, no hate towards the completionist. I do not want you to say anything to him. I do not think he did anything wrong in any way. He did not intend for this to happen. I did not intend for this to happen. I have nothing but nice things to say about him. This is not an argument. This is not a dispute. There's no underlying anger or anything like that. It was just an unfortunate situation that is obviously not bubbling as much as it was on Monday when this happened, but the effects are felt. Hello, Blinded by Daylight. So there you go. But again, thank you to the fans who jumped in there on. I'm sorry. Thanks to the Twitter users. Don't want to upset you. Who jumped on Twitter to reply and back me up. And you all did so in a really nice and respectful way too. It wasn't like a "shut up, you're an idiot" or anything like that. It was all, factual and nice. And I saw few people saying if you just go read the article, you see like it completely explains who he is and what he does. It's not anything about like diminishing what he does by calling him a fan. So thank you.
So because he makes video games now, I guess he's more than just a content creator. Like, I guess
all of that is creating content, just not on YouTube.
But I guess to say he's like a game creator, you would have to like, it's not that it's not true, but for in a headline for you to call him that, he would have to be have to be his defining recognizable trait.
Yeah.
Like of all the things you could call him, you'd probably be more inclined to call him YouTuber, influence, like one of those things.
That is what he's most well known for. I could have said influencer. That's certainly true too.
But I think that a lot of people see influencer and they're like, ew, like I don't care about that
that's the
opinion.
same thing.
A lot of people
content
see
creator
YouTuber
and
and
YouTuber.
think, it's all. That's exactly my point. I was trying to avoid all of that because nobody sees fan and gets upset. It's what comes after that. Like if it's like
I would also
fan
argue
of Taylor Swift,
Hitler,
somebody fan of Hitler. Yeah, that's it.
that a
Kanye West, fan of Hitler.
A fan gets no compensation for what they do. Like you're not implying that.
Yeah, it's like what a loser this fan is that he had to buy every single game.
But to say like
employed man.
Well, no, I mean, but if you say YouTuber or influencer, you could be implying that they're
famous
being paid
industry figurehead, but not even figurehead. I mean, what would you say?
And what fame is relative? Like, how many people know the completionist versus I don't know, other people on YouTube, H3 or trying to think of, I don't want to name any more names, but it's the whole thing.
It's frustrating because it's similar to, it's giving me vibes of that one thing that happened not too long ago. Was it someone's song or was it someone's game that you tried to put up and they were like, no, you can't do that? And you were just going to put like their song up or something, or he asked you to take it down, or
I don't remember this at all. I'm
okay,
sorry.
it's only a
I'm
couple of months
blanking.
ago, but I'm glad you don't remember.
Was it the voice actor?
It could have been a voice actor. Somebody posted something. And they were like, "Take it down," but it was like,
there was a voice actor.
It was something
situation,
good. It wasn't like a bad thing that you.
Yeah.
Well, look, I think that this is more about the state of people on the internet than anything else.
Yes. The internet sees one thing. They don't look into any of the backstory. They see the one thing and they're like, I hate this person or I hate this thing and I will ride or die.
Which I guess is really leaking out into areas bigger than, than
I don't think it's leaking out. I think it was always there. It's just the internet facilitates it. Unfortunately, it funnels that and gives you the anonymous aspect too. So it just makes it all the more better. You can just go out, whatever. We could talk about all episode, but I wanted to talk about it because it was a big thing that happened and I'm still feeling the effects of it. But this is not going to be a show where I'm down and upset. I may be a little off my game, but I'm sure that'll change. But I did want to talk about it because it was a thing.